question. Okay. This is page number. I already shared this file with you. This is page 11. Question numbers are not in order. That's why I did not say the question number. It's written 5, but it's not in order. So page 11. Two solids S and B were analyzed. S is copper 2 oxide. So they give us the identification or the name for substance S, which is copper oxide or copper 2 oxide. Test on the solid and the sum of the observations are in the table. Complete the observation in the table. Do not write any conclusion in the table. Like you don't have to say that this sulfate ion is present or carbonate ion is present in the observation part. Appearance of solid S, it's a black solid. I told you whenever there's a colored compound formed, so that gives an idea that there's a transition element, and already, no, it's not all black solids in chemistry. There are a lot of things which resemble with each other. So all black solids are not iodine. They already mentioned S is a copper oxide, copper 2 oxide. So it's actually a copper oxide, but why it is a color? Because it contains a transition metal, that's why it is not white. The second part, hydrogen peroxide was added to a solid in a test tube. Basically, hydrogen peroxide is a compound. It's not a stable compound. It tends to decompose into water and oxygen. Hydrogen peroxide formula is H2O2. It decomposes into water and oxygen. But if in the presence of the catalyst, it decomposes fast or at a greater rate. So hydrogen peroxide is decomposed. When we add a solid S, hydrogen peroxide decomposes slowly or slow effervescence. So means it is not a better catalyst. This shows that S is not a better catalyst. Because if a substance is a better catalyst, the rate of decomposition of hydrogen peroxide increases. And when hydrogen peroxide decompose, it decomposes into water and oxygen. What is the test for oxygen? It's a glowing split. It will relight. That's a test for oxygen gas. Is it clear, part A and B? You don't have to write anything in part A and B. The reason I was explaining that each observation is having its meaning, a significance. So this is just to explain the idea of the question. Next part, a dilute sulfuric acid is added to a mixture in a boiling tube. So we have copper oxide. If I have copper oxide and I add sulfuric acid, what is the product? Metal oxide plus acid. What will be the product? Copper oxide plus sulfuric acid. No, not copper sulfide, copper sulfate. Because sulfuric acid give a sulfate salt. So it will form copper sulfate plus water. So basically it will form a copper sulfate solution. So copper sulfate solution, that's why it is blue. Why it is blue? Because there's a copper sulfate solution formed. To the first portion, we add excess of sodium hydroxide. If we add excess of sodium hydroxide and we have copper, we have a solution which contain copper ion and sulfate ion. What is the observation if we add excess of sodium hydroxide? Observation, yeah, that's correct. Blue precipitates, which does not dissolve in excess. So it will form a blue precipitate which will not dissolve in excess. To the second portion, and you don't, that's right, copper hydroxide, but you don't have to write the formula here until they ask. They did not ask write the formula for precipitate, so you will just mention the name. To the second one, a copper sulfate solution, we add aqueous ammonia. What is the observation if we add aqueous ammonia? So with aqueous ammonia, it will also form blue precipitates. And in excess, if you add more than enough, what is the observation? The precipitate dissolve and it will form a deep blue solution or a royal or inky blue solution. PPT dissolve to form royal blue or inky blue or deep blue solution. You have to learn these tests. Dark blue solution also, deep blue solution, all are acceptable. Then the next one, to the third portion, we add hydrochloric acid and followed by barium chloride. So barium chloride and this is a test for which ion? Barium chloride or barium nitrate? Yeah, this is a test for sulfate ion. And already we know that this compound is copper sulfate. So what is the observation? Because now it turned into copper sulfate. So due to the sodium hydroxide and aqueous ammonia, copper was giving a result. Now barium chloride or barium nitrate, it will give a white precipitates. Next is appearance of solid V. How the solid V appear? It appear as a black solid, so means it contain a transition element. Hydrogen peroxide, rapid effervescence, so means it is a better catalyst or a good catalyst. Compare the reactivity of S with V. Which is more reactive, S or V? With hydrogen peroxide, S was giving a slow effervescence, but V is giving rapid effervescence. So which is more reactive? V is better catalyst or V is more reactive? Because you have to compare the reactivity here. Identify the gas given off in test E. Which gas is given off here? Glowing split, relit. Oxygen. What conclusion you draw about solid B? So what you can say it is a catalyst and it contains a transition element. It's of 2 marks. So 1 mark is for mentioning a catalyst. Another mark is for mentioning that it contains a transition element. It's a better or a good catalyst and contain a transition element because it was forming a colored substance. So this was the whole question, and this question total marks 11 marks total for this question. So your paper 6 based on this salt and identification, and everyone should participate. Only few students are participating when I answering this question related to salt identification. So better memorize the test for positive and negative ion. So you can also participate in this discussion in which we discuss the salt and identification or identification of the ions. Any doubt related to today's class? End of October, there will be a comprehensive test. Last week of October, I will conduct a comprehensive test of chemistry from chapter 1 till chapter 11, the metal, except the chapter which we skipped, the stoichiometry. Other than stoichiometry, a comprehensive test for chemistry, as well as there will be a complete test for not MCQs, it will be both multiple choice question and structure questions. As well as for physics, I plan to conduct a comprehensive test. Yeah, there's no test this week. I'm giving you time to prepare for this comprehensive test. So you have approximately 2 weeks to prepare for this. Duration of the test, you will know when I will share the test with you. But you have almost 2 weeks to prepare for this comprehensive test.
It will cover everything.
Yes, what you studied till now, it will cover everything for chemistry as well as for physics, block 1 and block 2.
So both tests on the same day?
Not on the same day. I will give you 2 weeks for preparation, and then between the 2 tests, there is either a gap of 10 days or 7 days.
All right.